I honestly thought my gaming days were over. Between work, family, and, just life in general, the idea of sitting down for a 2 hour gaming session felt like a fantasy. My gaming laptop sat untouched, and my Steam backlog had morphed into a digital monument to games I'd never have time to play. Every unplayed title was like a little badge of guilt. I was ready to pack it all in to accept that this chapter of my life, a hobby I loved since I was a kid, was closing for good. But then I found a single feature on this device that completely flipped the script and saved a hobby I thought was gone forever. Let's be real, modern gaming isn't really built for busy adults. It demands time, and time is just the one thing that we don't have. Just starting becomes a hurdle. I used to play a lot on PC, and I'm sure a lot of you PC gamers can relate to this. So, when you sit down at your desk, you turn on your PC, wait for it to boot, log in, then you get the classic message system update required. There goes 10 minutes gone. Then you finally launch a game, and what's waiting for you? Game update required. By the time everything's ready, that tiny window of free time that you thought you had has vanished. Or worse, you actually find the time, you carve out a 2 hour block on a Tuesday night, you've ignored the laundry, you've put off preparing for tomorrow's meeting, and you finally sit down. But then you get this nagging feeling, something that I can only call adult guilt. Something asks you, should I really be spending this precious, rare, quiet time fighting virtual dragons or virtual zombies when there are so many real things that I should be doing? That friction, that mental tug of war, it just started to kill the fun. It just became easier to not play. It was easier to just flop down on the couch and doom scroll on my phone or watch a 30-minute show. No setup, no updates, no commitment needed. My gaming laptop began to feel less like a portal to amazing adventures and more like a symbol of commitment that I couldn't make. Sitting at that desk, even for fun, felt too much like being at a workstation. It blurred the line between responsibility and relaxation, making it hard to mentally switch off and just play. The passion was still there, buried deep, but the friction of getting to it was just too exhausting by this time. I was drifting away from a part of myself and had pretty much accepted it. I'd see videos about incredible new games, and instead of excitement, I'd just feel a wave of resignation. Wow, that looks great, I think. Too bad I'll never play it. But I didn't give up right away. I tried finding alternatives. I dipped my toes into mobile gaming, but it just wasn't the same. The games often felt designed around microtransactions and daily logins, and they just didn't have the depth of the PC titles that I was craving. They were kind of like a snack and not really a complete meal. And my problem wasn't really the games themselves, it was accessing the Steam library that I've spent a few years building. Then I started hearing more about handheld PCs. On paper, they seemed perfect. Access to your Steam library on the go. But the more I looked into them, the more problems I saw. The reviews were filled with complaints about clunky Windows interfaces, poor battery life, and most critically, unreliable sleep functions. People reported that suspending a game was a coin toss. Best case scenario, it would drain the entire battery. Worst case, the game would crash and you'd probably lose your progress. It was all the complexity of a desktop PC crammed into a portable form factor that just couldn't quite stick the landing. It didn't solve the friction, it just made the friction portable. And it kind of felt like a dead end. Then I came across the Steam Deck, and I'd seen the hype, but I was a bit skeptical at first. It's just another gadget, another promise of a revolution that would probably just gather dust. And as I said before, I'd seen the other Windows based handhelds, and reviews mentioned their sleep modes were unreliable, games crashing or the battery dying, making them no better than a laptop, really. But people talked about the Steam Deck differently. The praise just wasn't about the power, but about how it fit into your life. The words they used hit close to home: dad gamer, busy professional, and finally clearing my backlog. So this really got me interested. So I decided to look into it a bit more. I watched more YouTube videos about the Steam Deck, watched reviews, read articles. I even asked some friends who owned a Steam Deck what they thought about it. And the feedback that I got was mostly positive. So I thought about it for a while, and in the end, I decided to get one. When it arrived, the device felt solid in my hands. But the real test wasn't really going to be on a spec sheet. It was how it would be able to handle the messy, unpredictable reality of my life. So I charged it, installed the first game I'd end up loving on it, Red Dead Redemption 2, a huge story-driven game that I would never even start on my laptop, and waited for the first inevitable interruption. It happened the first night. I was maybe playing for 20 or 30 minutes, and I was just getting lost in the world, when suddenly I just remembered something. A jarring thought pulled me right out of the game, and I just remembered an important task for the next day that I'd completely forgotten. Before the Steam Deck, this was the point of no return. I'd have to find a save point, navigate menus, quit the game, and shut everything down. The momentum would just be shattered. But this time, I just tapped the power button on the top of the Steam Deck. The screen went dark instantly, and that was it. No menus, no saving, no closing anything, just just silence. So I went and dealt with what needed to be done, and 10 minutes later I sat back down, picked up my Steam Deck with a healthy dose of cynicism, and pressed the power button again. And there it was. The screen just lit up, and the game was exactly where I left it. Not the main menu, not a loading screen. I just saw Arthur Morgan standing in the middle of a field and ready to move. The entire process of suspending and resuming took probably 2 seconds. The first time I did that, it felt like magic. This wasn't just a sleep mode, it was a core system level suspend feature that Valve had clearly poured everything into. It freezes the game, and it just waits for you to come back. This single elegant function was the answer to every problem that I had. The friction of starting to play, gone. The need for a 2-hour block, gone. The guilt of making everyone wait while you save and quit, gone. And suddenly a 15-minute gap in my day wasn't not enough time to play. It was a perfect amount of time for a quick session. Waiting for the oven to preheat, that's 5 minutes of exploring. Lying in bed before sleep, that's a half hour of chipping away at a story quest. This one feature transformed gaming from an event I had to schedule into something that fit effortlessly into the cracks of my life. That one amazing feature opened the floodgates. The Steam Deck became a constant companion, and the first game that I truly fell in love with on it was Red Dead Redemption 2. You'd think that a massive, sprawling story like that would be the worst choice for this kind of play, but it was quite the opposite. The sleep feature meant I could experience that incredible world and story in 15 or 20-minute chunks, complete one part of the mission, get straight into a gunfight, or just soaking in the atmosphere without losing any momentum. I also discovered other games perfect for this kind of play. Roguelikes like Hades, where each one is a self contained session, became another one of my go tos. And what about that dusty Steam backlog? Honestly, it's probably bigger than ever, but something fundamental changed. The guilt that I used to feel looking at it was gone, replaced by the simple joy of playing. It didn't matter if I was chipping away at an old classic or diving into a brand new indie title. I wasn't just consuming media, I was engaging with my hobby again, reconnecting with a part of my identity I thought was lost to adulthood. The Steam Deck didn't make me change my life to fit my hobby, but it changed my hobby to fit my life. It's been a transformative experience to say the least, and it makes me wonder how many others have felt the same way. So I want to ask you, have you ever felt like you were falling out of a hobby you loved just because life got in the way? And more importantly, what's the one game you've finally been able to play and enjoy thanks to a device like the Steam Deck? Tell me your story in the comments. I genuinely love to read about the games that have been saved for you. So, the Steam Deck is more than just an impressive piece of hardware. For me, it was a lifeline. It's proof that our hobbies don't have to disappear as we get older, they just need to adapt. That instant suspend and resume feature is more than a technical spec, it's a key. And it's the key that unlocked hundreds of worlds that I thought were sealed off to me forever. And it's the feature that understands my time is valuable and that even a few minutes of play is worthwhile. It may not have saved my backlog, but it definitely saved my hobby. And for a busy adult who thought his gaming days were over, that feels like a pretty amazing achievement.